I'm Rich.
I'm Othello.
And I'm Aaron.
And by our fandoms combined, we are Fandom United. So this week we want to talk about San Diego Comic-Con on the WB side or the DC side. Last week we talked about Marvel. And so
we gave it a lot of love.
We gave it a lot of love. We even had a longer show. We're not going to do that with WB. In the Sorry, it's just not.
They haven't earned it.
You know, hey, maybe if they release a Snyder Cut, we'll feel like that. No, I can't even. Hey, I'm still with you guys, even though I make fun of you. I wish they would release this white unicorn cut of a movie. Speaking of, so there's a special edition of, I believe it's Variety or Hollywood Reporter, I can't remember which, that comes out every year for San Diego Comic-Con. There's a website where these people put together money, got people to send in money through a crowdfunding to put an ad, like a half page or full page ad in this magazine. So everybody got it about releasing the Snyder Cut and why it's so awesome. And quotes from various people who were in the films talking about how different it was than what we got, right? They're just completely throwing poor Joss Whedon under the bus. But
well, I mean, if you want to burn money, that's one way to do it.
Right? So they just swear that this cut is out here. And Zack Snyder's not helping, of course. He keeps putting out like, this is what Darkseid would have looked like. This is what whoever would have looked like. And he keeps putting that out there and he keeps stoking this fire. Right, I mean there were buses, the bus terminals where you wait, the bus stop, and they had the whole thing done up in this release of Snyder Cut banner. They had a plane flying over SDCC with hashtag release of Snyder Cut on it.
Was Zach flying the plane?
Well, if he was, he would have been crashing it into the hall in the back where WB Warner Media was.
I mean, Snyder's at least mostly salty, so I see why he does it.
I mean, he's definitely fanning the flames of it.
Yeah.
I hate that I hate that his daughter died in the way that she died, and I hate that is somehow being used as the method by which they got him out of the movie, kind of to do the movie. They're saying that it was...
They did it to give him an out. They did it so he could save face. That wasn't... They weren't.
But a lot of people are saying that principal photography was done. They're saying that they were just doing some scoring and effects and maybe a little ADR coming back and picking up lines in the sound booth. So they're saying a lot of people believe that this movie is done and it's just sitting somewhere, and Warner Brothers refuses to release the superior cut of Justice League. I can't even say it with a straight face. So yeah, that was the first thing I noticed going on.
If it was better, it couldn't be that much better to make Justice League palatable to me.
Well, and what is it going to prove? What is it going to do?
It's not going to do anything.
Henry Cavill has already moved on to The Witcher. He would still like to play Superman, but he's not stressed about it. Ben Affleck is out. The only people from that movie that are still around are Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
I don't think Ezra Miller's there anymore as the Flash.
I thought he came back in.
Did he come? Okay, he might have come back in. Ray Fisher, I believe, is gone as Cyborg, which was, and he was supposed to have a completely different story. It's... Darkseid was supposed to be the villain, not Steppenwolf.
That could have been... Like, Steppenwolf was a horrible choice. A horrible choice.
I don't understand how you could come up with Steppenwolf.
Right.
Of all of Darkseid. You could have done Calabac, right? And made him kind of scary instead of a dope. Instead of cartoons. You could have done the Furies. You could have done Granny Goodness and the Furies. Right? How dope would that have been? Big Barda and the rest of the Furies just getting crazy.
That's what I was thinking. More creepy than anything.
It fit with what Zack was doing anyway.
Yeah. With Darkseid being the villain too, like that whole dream sequence and all would have made more sense. But I still don't think they could have saved that movie. I don't think they could have saved that movie.
Release the Snyder Cut. It's just, I'm riding there with you guys.
What if it sucks?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Let's see
Fanboy nod.
Let's see it. Let's see it. I want them to release it so it could just, it's over and done with. So I just want Warner Brothers to be like, we're just going to go ahead and release it. And
now, if it did suck, do you think all the fanboys that put out their money to get the Snyder Cut out and everything, would they admit it?
No.
Or would they be in denial?
You guys changed what he had originally done and you cut it wrong and you made the sound bad.
Or you stopped him from doing it the way that he was going to do it.
Yeah.
He
So
stifled his vision.
I honestly don't think the release of Snyder Cut base will be happy with anything. This is just their hill that they have chose to die on, because they love DC, they hate Marvel. Everything that Marvel does, they hate, no matter how good.
Hate all those vibrant colors and good stories.
No matter what.
Happy endings. Who wants happy endings?
There's one guy. No matter.
Marvel didn't
what
even have happy endings. Have you seen Endgame?
That's all.
Yeah.
Most of them had pretty happy endings.
But even with that, the sadness that went with that Marvel stuff did not make me want to go dig a hole, climb in it, and start pulling dirt on myself like every Zack Snyder movie that I've ever watched.
Right.
You just do not like Zack Snyder.
No. That's not true. I loved his Watchmen.
I liked Watchmen.
I thought
See,
Watchmen was phenomenal.
I don't understand.
That was a depressing movie.
Yeah, but it was based off a
depressing
depressing comic book. And he captured the essence of that comic book. I'm like, wow, this dude just nailed it, like, for the way that I perceive that comic.
Because how is it that you like his Watchmen, but you don't like his Man of Steel? Is it because of that? Because Man of Steel isn't depressing?
Yes, Man of Steel is supposed to be truth, justice, and the American way, and like he's
that's why
he's the American Boy Scout from outer
Brandon Routh
space.
was a good Superman, even though Superman Returns sucked. I thought Brandon Routh was a good Superman because he was
a creepy stalker.
He was. Yeah. He had the Clark Kent down, in my opinion. He was very
a pedophile.
See again. But
sorry, Brandon.
You are,
and I love Brandon. I love him as Ant-Man or the Atom. But
wow,
that character creeped me out in that movie.
His Iron Man light. Yes, he's.
You were pointing to the script and not to the acting. His acting was good. His acting was on point for Superman. His acting, in my opinion, fit more with the traditional Superman from the 1970s.
Well, and that movie was supposed to be a direct sequel of the Christopher Reeve films. Primarily, I want to say the second one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, so they're basically saying that Superman 3 and 4 never happened.
It was 1, 2, the Donner cut, and 3 was Superman Returns. Is the way that they pretend.
But
that's why they released the Donner
Lex
cut.
Luthor land deal thing.
Yeah. Okay.
How did that make it any better? No, the script was horrible. I think he was a good Superman though.
Well,
I don't think he's what was wrong with that movie.
Exactly.
You're going to get a chance to see Brandon Routh as Superman again.
Yay!
Because switching gears to Crisis on Infinite Earths, there's going to be this this year's CW's big crossover event. He is going to reprise his role as Superman. Now, which version of Superman, we don't know. He could be his Superman Returns Superman, but it's rumored that he's going to be the Kingdom Come Superman.
Okay.
Because they're saying that DC or I don't even know who to say at this point. Is it WB? Is it CW? I'm assuming let's just say CW is going all in, going hard, and hitting a lot of different universes. It's rumored that Tom Welling may be back. I would love to see. People have been dying to see this man in a Superman suit forever.
Okay, you know what? That made me so sad in the last crossover when they showed the farm. They did the song and had the wrong Superman there. No,
exactly.
No.
So it's rumored Tom Welling may be there. Burt Ward is confirmed to be in it. I don't know. Maybe he's a geriatric Robin. I don't know.
Alfred.
He's Alfred. He's old Bruce, and maybe they're gonna have a Batman Beyond. There's Linda Carter is rumored to yeah.
So they're gonna
the OG Wonder Woman.
Can they have Wonder Woman in there?
Yes, you know why? Because she could be Queen Hippolyta. She could be Wonder Woman's mom.
Okay.
Or they could say
if they got multiple
Donna
Earths
Troy.
that they can do, they can be just like what they did with Jay Garrick. They had the old one, and they had the younger guy that was from a different Earth. It wasn't really him, but I mean, everybody thought that it was.
But I thought it was kind of like, hey, you can't touch these guys because we're doing movies about these
but they got
characters.
And they're doing movies they're going to be doing movies with Superman. I mean, I see what you're saying, and I don't know why Batman is off limits. Honestly, I think that's why we got Arrow in the first place.
It is. Yeah, that was Batman.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, come on. Green Arrow ain't never been. No. Stop it. Quit playing. So I could see them doing a Wonder Woman, You know, and somebody, it could be something as simple as she could be Queen Hippolyta, and then they could show Gal Gadot turn around, you know, or something like that. Like, oh, these are the different worlds of the multiverse. So we don't know how much of that we're going to see. We don't know if he's going to actually have a part or role to play as Superman, or and still be the Atom or whatever. But it will be interesting to see. It'll be a nice end cap to Arrow, because that'll come right after the end of Arrow, which is a shortened final season. Which
do you think we'll get to see Diggle as
Green Lantern? I have heard that rumor. I did read that rumor that
they've been playing around that so much through the.
We could see in the multiverse Diggle as John Stewart.
Another good end cap too, because after next season they're all gone anyway. So
maybe gonna change his name.
No, different.
His name is John Diggle, but then some people are like, well, you could say his middle name is Stewart, or that his mom's maiden name is Stewart, and then.
No, there was an episode where...
I don't know many adult men that are like, hey, you know what?
I'm going to go by Diggle.
I'm just going to change my last name.
Yeah, but there was an episode.
There was an episode where he met his dad.
Wasn't it The Flash?
No, it was Arrow.
Was it Arrow?
Yeah. His dad was played by... what's his name? The fourth man from Ghostbusters.
Oh, Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson. His dad was played by Ernie Hudson, and he was General Stewart.
He wanted to say the black guy so bad.
It would have made it easier.
I was already there with you before you said...
The Blackbuster. That's who he wanted to...
It would have made it easier, but... The fourth guy. But he was General Stewart, so they've been playing around that. He hates his dad.
Oh, so he could have gone with his mom's name because he hates his dad. Now, that would have made sense.
Yeah.
And then there was an episode, I believe, of The Flash where, I can't think of his name now.
Was it the black
John
guy?
Wesley Shipp, the original Flash. No, it wasn't the black guy. Showed up and he was like, "Hey, John, where's your ring?"
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's like, "Wait a minute, you know me?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you look just like a friend of mine." Like, oh. Ooh, yeah. I got really excited because I thought maybe we'd get something there, too. They danced
around it a couple times throughout the season, but they've never gone that far.
I would love to see that.
I would like to see that, too.
That would be the be-all, end-all for me. For
Crisis
to see John Stewart.
He's a great actor.
Yes, and he could carry that franchise forward.
He could carry it for they could get a few years out of him.
Now, there is talk that... So the new showrunner of The Flash created or was in the writing room when they introduced... Mr. Terrific on Arrow. And he's been trying to get Mr. Terrific to kind of guest spot on The Flash for a while now. Now that Arrow is ending and those actors are going to be freed up, now I think he's working and talking to Greg Berlanti to see, hey, can we move Echo Callum, the guy that plays Mr. Terrific, can we move him over
Can we make him cooler?
Flash.
Like, Mr. Terrific was a cool character in the comics, and he's such an annoying nerd in the show.
Maybe it'd be the multiverse, Mr. Terrific. I don't know. Which would actually that would actually be really funny if they did that. If it was like a multiverse Mr. Terrific and he was, he was like the hard guy he was in the comics.
Yeah, he was a hard dude, and he's gay in the show, but he was a ladies' man in the comics. And
currently in the comics, or at least last I read, he was actually dating Power Girl. Like, he and Karen Starr are a thing. Hey, if you can pull Power Girl, you can pull, a Kryptonian. You. Hey, hats off to you. I bet Lois Lane's a bad chick because she can pull Superman. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
right,
if you
right.
can. So, I don't know.
Huh.
I would like to see that, though. I would love to see Diggle as Green Lantern. I would like to see some of those things. I would like to see them move some of those other characters to maybe some other shows. There's room on, I don't know what kind of room they have on Legends to add any of those characters. Or Flash. I mean, they're not going to add anybody onto Black Lightning because Black Lightning apparently is still in their own pocket universe. They're not really included in the Crisis on Infinite Earths, which makes zero sense to me at all.
I think they just don't know what to do with that property, though.
I think you're right.
That reminds me of a meme that I saw for Endgame, and it shows the Defenders like waiting at a door at the bottom and says, okay, Doctor Strange said the portal's going to open any minute.
Oh, that's harsh. Oh, that's just painful. That is just painful. And I love Mahershala Ali. I know we're supposed to be talking about WB. I love him.
I was talking about some Marvel.
But for him, and he wanted to play Blade. I get it. And he's an Academy Award winner. I get that too. And he called Marvel. He's like, I want to play Blade. They're like, we'd be stupid.
Oh.
He's hot. We got to do it. It's just...
My 2 Academy Awards says that I should play Blade.
Right. Them casting him as Blade, it just kind of spit in the face of everything that Netflix did.
That was the nail in the
it's
coffin.
Kind of like, just so you know, none of what you did, we're taking.
Yep.
None of that's canon. Cute, you did a show. We got this now. The movie guys are going to take it over. Because it's already rumored. They're talking already that Daredevil will be the first one to get rebooted. And if you had any hope that any of the Netflix stuff was going to come back, Marvel said, oh, here, we're also going to have an auction of all the props from the Netflix shows.
Don't need none of it.
Because we're having a fire sale. Yeah. We're having a Love's Hangover sale. Everything's going, hey, whatever you want, you can take it.
So it's kind of like a
we're divorced
stepchild kind of thing.
They're divorced, and this is all the stuff that was left.
Uh-huh.
And we don't want
That's a shame, because there was so much good that came out of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Charlie was so good in that role.
Yeah.
But honestly,
Charlie Cox was amazing as Daredevil.
When they talked about that, I remember just hearing, okay, there's a Daredevil show coming. I just remember feeling bad for the guy that had to follow that up and try to save what Ben Affleck did as Daredevil years before. Which, again,
but
not his fault.
He did, though.
Nailed it. Dude reinvented that character in a way.
Ben Affleck never played Daredevil.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh. Charlie Cox is the only Daredevil I recognize.
Yeah.
I don't even think
you got some footage I need to show you.
Not even talk about Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin.
Oh.
Ooh,
no, there was so much good that came from it.
So much good that came from that show.
Bernthal.
Yeah, we got the Punisher.
They're just they're so salty.
First time on screen that they've got the Punisher right.
Ever.
Sorry, Dolph.
Yeah, don't care. First, yeah, perfect.
And
Thomas Jane. Thomas Jane, I was pulling for you too, buddy. I was pulling hard.
Who's the third movie? I don't even remember the actor from the third movie.
Ray Liotta. No, not Ray Liotta. Ray Winston.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which he, out of all of them, was the only one that really looked like Frank Castle. But he looked like Frank Castle from the War Journal, which they did the War Journal. I'm like, wow,
that was
you got a dude that looked just like him.
Yeah. And I liked that movie. A lot of people didn't. I liked it.
It was forgettable for me.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I can remember the opening scene, like him crashing that dinner party. That's the only thing I remember from that movie.
I remember the one before that more than I remember that one, and that's weird because I didn't like the one before that.
And somehow, still on the Warner Brothers show, we still get back to talking about Marvel. What is that?
It's good stuff.
That is so bad. That's so bad.
All right, back to
something
DC,
good something that WB has that Marvel just hasn't been able to touch. WB animation.
Their animation will always.
Animation is WB animation can't be touched right now. They are the Marvel of animation.
I would agree with that.
Marvel is always the kind of Disney Channel.
I hate Marvel's
feel of animation. Whereas
XD?
Disney XD. It's that Disney XD. I just cannot stand it. It makes me worry about what if.
Sorry, going back to Marvel. Funny reason, my son never
turn that right back around.
My son never got into the Marvel movies because he watched the cartoon and he was like, no, I didn't like the cartoon. I don't want to watch the movies.
So speaking of movies and cartoons. And the area where WB does better, because whoever they got doing their animated movies, maybe let those guys make the movies. Because their animated movies are solid.
They also stick close to the material, though.
They do. And next year we have Superman Red Sun coming out. We got a new one from Justice League Dark, a sequel to that movie called Apocalypse War, which I don't remember reading anything with Justice League Dark and a War Against Apocalypse, but now I am very intrigued. And we also have The Man of Tomorrow that they're doing next year. So all those are coming out next year. Plus, they've renewed Young Justice for another season.
Good call. I liked Young Justice.
Yeah,
this last season, it lost me. When they took that long break, I got bored and I just never went back.
I get you have to move on, and they got these new kids and this new team. I still want to see that original team of Young Justice that I kind of fell in love with, even though they're older. Let me see them.
Yeah.
And not them trying to bring on these other kids. Let me see them. And then if you want to do these young kids as a different team, do a new show, call it Teen Titans, and boop, stick them over there.
Or call it Young Justice Outsider, and do that. Yeah, I don't know. Here's Young Justice. Here's the Outsider spinoff show.
I just wish.
Did you see the new movie, the Teen Titans versus the Teen Titans?
No, I haven't seen the trailer for that yet. But I do want to see that because I know what you're talking about. Where it's Teen Titans Go versus the original incarnation of the cartoon Teen Titans.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless it ends with them killing the kids from Teen Titans Go.
I think that's going to be funny.
It reminded me, remember Batman Ninja? I went into that movie knowing that it was going to just be weird.
Bad. Oh, I'm sorry, weird. Yeah, sorry.
So it was the same thing for not Young Justice, Teen Titans versus Teen Titans. I knew it was just going to be weird.
Yeah.
And if you go into it with that mindset,
no doubt,
it's not that bad.
Okay.
And then speaking of WB animation, October 29th, I've been waiting on this. Batman Beyond is getting remastered in Blu-ray, and it's a full series. All the episodes are there. There are 52 episodes of the show. 41 are going to be Blu-ray. 11 were just up-resed because the original source was too damaged to fully upgrade to Blu-ray. It'll include the Return of the Joker film, up-resed to Blu-ray quality. Plus, it's going to have an exclusive Chrome Batman Beyond Funko Pop. And that all retails or MSRP for $100. Now, it already is available for pre-order, and the last time I looked, that pre-order actually price is down to $89.
Okay.
So there's only going to be 50,000 of them released, and then they're done. So get it or you're not going to get it, basically. I mean, 50,000 is a lot, but there are a lot of Batman Beyond fans that are out there.
Yeah.
So buy two. Sell one to a sucker who didn't pre-order, and keep one for yourself.
That's a good point. I was a big fan of the shows, but oddly enough, now that so many years have gone by, I don't remember much of it anymore. So this would be a good way to
really good.
Bring myself back into
it. It's a great show, and I want to see Michael Keaton as old Bruce Wayne now so bad.
Me too.
I can't even stand it.
It's out there.
Yeah. If I could get Michael Keaton as old Bruce Wayne in a Batman Beyond movie, it would almost be as good as having Keanu Reeves as Moon Knight. Almost.
That's the beautiful thing about social media. Like, if enough people, if they hear it enough, they're like, oh, I guess we can make money off of this. Let's do it.
That's why we got the return of the Young Justice.
Yeah.
It
took a long time, though. It took
a long time.
But corporate's always behind. Like, it takes them a long time to ride the wave. And usually when they get on the wave, that wave's already gone and they've moved on to the next thing.
But that's kind of what they did, because I think a lot of people missed it coming back.
Yeah, I think you're right. But they already are renewed on DC Universe, from what I understand. DC Universe also has a Stargirl show coming out. They got the Harley Quinn adult animated show coming out. They got the next season of Titans.
It just sounds creepy that way.
Mm-hmm. And the next season of Doom Patrol, which was renewed. Now, Doom Patrol is interesting because it's also going to show simultaneously on the new service, HBO Max.
Okay.
So this leads me to kind of believe that a lot of people, I think, are also speculating that because you have Warner Media now, AT&T owns this huge thing, right? DC didn't have their own space in Comic-Con. At Comic-Con, they had this. They weren't in Hall H. They didn't have this huge booth. They were like in this back far corner with this Warner Media booth, where Warner's just kind of showing everything, right? Like we're this big homogenous monster. I think what you're going to see is a collapsing, because you got HBO now, you got DC Universe, you'll have DirecTV now, I think it is, and HBO Max. That's at least 4 that I can think of off the top of my head. Why do you need 4 different streaming services? I think they'll collapse all of those into HBO Max.
Yeah, once Disney pops out, I think that's the move they'll make. Because why would you pay for all 4 of those?
Right.
When you could just pay for one with Disney and just get everything.
And if they don't do it right away, I bet they'll do it. Because right now they're saying, oh, we're just going to leave everything the way it is right now. But once Disney comes out with the bundle, we talked about last week, when you can get Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus for like $20 a month, yeah, you can
or less.
Although
if it's less, I can't imagine them doing it less than that. That's a hard one to beat if they do it.
From the prices that they got out now, if they bundle it, there has to be an incentive for people to do a bundle. People ain't going to pay more for a bundle.
Although I saw the lineup for Disney Plus, and it's a lot sparser than I thought it would be.
Yeah, but
I was expecting far more of their older movies on there, and it just, like, for Marvel, I think there was only like 7 or 8 movies,
and we still swung back around to Marvel. We're some suckers for Marvel.
It's good.
It's good. We'll have to look into it, because we'll have to talk about that on maybe another show. We'll talk about the future of streaming and what that might mean for genre programming, because we are, losing shows left and right, and streaming services usually only give you 3 seasons before they cut you. So, maybe we'll wrap that up next week, and we'll talk about that with the boys.
right?
Because I know you watched it and I watched it. Rich doesn't really have an opportunity.
He can't really
He
watch
can't
it
watch
here.
it here in the store. So that's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week. And remember, tell them F you.